This is Cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephile, here with day 64 of the 95 Days of Award Season Posts and day 5 of the Documentary Week Plus One with the 5th feature-length documentary Simon Lereng Wilmont's A House Made of Splinters. Nominated for Best Documentary Feature for both the Independent Spirit Awards and the Oscar, A House Made of Splinters tells the stories of young children living in temporary institution housing in Ukraine in 2020. Now, all of the children living in the home are of all ages, and they are there because the state has removed them from their homes for being with unfit parents, dealing with drunkenness or mental illness as a result of PTSD with the war conditions, amongst many others. The children tell their stories of their parents falling over drunk, beating them when they get mad, or seeing their parents attack one another, amongst so many other atrocities that in truth were painful to hear about. So I am not as high uppity as I normally am in these, because this was a documentary that really, puts things into perspective. Things that I know as an educator and working in a school system with children and having seen some of these things just made it very real to see. And the social worker explains in this film, with this circumstance, that the children are placed in this home where House Made of Splinters takes place is the temporary home. So when the children are removed from their homes, they're sent to this temporary home while the legal system determines what is to occur. It may result in the parents being found to be fit to take their children back into custody, or they may not and be stripped of their legal parenting rights, and the children are then either put with foster families or they are sent to state orphanages where they will live until they age out or are adopted. It's very tragic to see, as these cases can sometimes go up to 9 months, maybe a little less depending on the severity. And some of the children that we meet in this documentary have been in this institution not once but twice, and in some cases maybe even more. Now, the film, while there are many children living in this house, primarily focuses on a group of 4 children: Eva, Sasha, Kolya, and Polina. Now, I don't want to spoil the journey for each of the children, and I will say some of these journeys do end, on quasi-happy notes. I can't say that they all do. But the film really does capture the experiences that they have. The camera is there capturing this in almost a non-pressing way. There's the old Mark Twain saying, "Children and fools always speak the truth." And that is very evident here. These children speak with no filters about the experiences that they've had, the horrors that they've seen. Even in one case, 2 of the children that we meet, Sasha and Polina, who can't be more than 8 or 9 years old, they form a friendship, and one of the only ways that they can really communicate is by fighting with one another, play fighting, grabbing hair, smacking each other, and you wonder why the documentarians don't butt in, but you realize they're capturing this experience, and this is what these children know. It's how they were raised. So it's not that they're fighting to fight, but because they feel that that is a means of affection, because that is what they know. Another situation with Kolya, the young boy who can't be more than 11 or 12, his story, he's there with his 2 younger siblings, and all he wants to do is for all of them to go back home with their mom and the rest of their family. We even learned that he had run away from the shelter when he was put there and brought back by the authorities. Now, the 4th child, Eva, when she has her scenes, talking with the social worker and her experiences, going back to that Twain quote, she just states it. Like, my mother doesn't want to get well. She's not going to change. Seeing these kids call their parents and have a conversation over the phone one day and then the next day finding that the number is out of service, it's hard to watch. But I have to say, Wilmont does an excellent job as an observer capturing all of these moments. This film moves at a very crisp 87 minutes, and even though it was brief, I felt that each subject was presented in a full way, where I didn't feel I needed to, well, in one case, I wanted to know a little bit more. This documentary for me has been my favorite one that I have seen thus far of the six that I've seen, the one that I will talk about tomorrow. There's still 2 more for me to see, and I give this film a very easy 5 out of 5 stars. Now, while this film has not been released in this country yet, I was fortunate enough to just see that there was a one-night screening in New York City, so I was able to catch it. And when I learned that this was filmed in 2020, and knowing about the insurgents and the issues with Russia and Ukraine recently, my heart almost stopped when I thought about what has happened to this organization and these children, as a result of that. But the filmmaker had done a pre-recorded message attached to the beginning of this screening and stated that, from the ones he's kept in touch with, that they are all okay, which did put me a little bit at ease. I also have to say, I want to publicly shout out all the social workers and the teachers that were working with those children in the Ukraine and also all over, helping assist with children that go through similar experiences in this country as well and all over the world. I'm out there on that front line with you. I feel it. And, I'm going to keep fighting that good fight, and I hope that all of you do as well, too. Okay, I'm getting off of my soapbox now. There's my little moment of levity. But again, A House Made of Splinters is an incredible film. I'm not sure when it's going to get released as of this post. There's no information on a release or a streaming date yet. Again, I was fortunate to happen to see that it was screening. But when this film does become available, I recommend that you see it. For now, I am going to end here, but I do want to say that this is Cinephile Mike saying, take a break and watch something new.